Hail and well met, fellow time travelers. I am Johnny Q. We are here in Studio Johnny Q, and we are going to do a Dungeon Deep Dive. And that's just where we do a abbreviated version of our recaps from our D&D sessions that we do over on Twitch. So, enjoy. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. We have some high-speed footage of us putting the board together at the very end, so be sure to stick around. After we do our recap, you get to watch that.
That's super high speed!
Alright, so I want to do a dungeon deep dive where I take a close examination of the board before I put it away. Propsta, Runehammer, Pinkrin, Furnell, this artwork. So I like to have a starting area for the group, a little place that when you kind of start the adventure, generally they can get their bearings. So here we have the three main players and their three pets. So we have Dart with her homemade shield. It's actually something that she looted that players have it fixed to her mini. Got Shasta back here, got Furion's pet, Treant. Shasta has a little genie. Dart has a little kitty cat. And notable NPCs that are traveling with them. This is Thorg, who they actually freed from their first session in the bar. And then Reyna, who is one of their kin and kind of the whole reason that they are here. Players all had dreams of Reyna, and in their quest to find her, they ended up chancing upon each other. They've learned that they all kind of represent different fundamentals of magic. And the Supernal Regency, who is the local main force. Anybody with generally red in armor is usually Supernal Regency. They've been hunting magic users, so these sort of orphans have found their way to each other, knowing that magic is not always welcome. So Reyna and Thorg, that they have an existing relationship. He's kind of been a caretaker to her. When they come here to this place, she says that they're here to find the monkey, and if they find the monkey, that they can find their way. Thorg, when he comes here, he notices that this place has been ravaged by people that he thinks are some of his own people. There's a couple places on the board where there's these giant stone creatures that appear to have been in the battle. One back in here as well. He kind of freaks out about this. Ruins aren't necessarily new. But it's obvious that there has been this military force has taken up within it. But Thorg is really confused by what the stone folk would be doing and all of this business. And he ends up flaking out and he tunnels off. And then Reyna, she goes stealthy straight up off the bat. So yeah, so Thorg, he puts a jetpack on the Bizak and he's gone. And then Reyna, she says, we got to find the monkey. And so she just hops off. And one other thing of note is the movable rod, which is denoted here. As they check out the playing field, there are a lot of military on the board. I think even more so than what I'm showing here. There's knights all over the board. Heavily armored. There's a giant over in here. We have who appears to be the commander of an army here, a halfling giant here, and they're in terse conversations. And there also appears to be some sellswords, and those guys are generally depicted through more normal gear. There's this giant over here who seems to be getting taunted by some goblins over here who probably should be doing some work, but they're being mischievous. We've got the halfling giant over here, and we've got this commander of the guard. I believe her name is Treya. We have a doored area here with an archer on top with a ladder. We always try to have a ladder somewhere on the board. Other notable things, there's cobwebs. There is a spider lair denoted to the players by hanging corpse. So there's starting area, there's burnt down building, there's some statue with a spider over here. There's a lot of military up here, this tower. The other main thing, there is a moat around the keep, and there is a bridge here, which this is not in best of repair. There is a rope that is attached, one that isn't. As it is on the board is as it is in the game. So there's elements there that they could potentially use or interact with. I was happy to see that players were concerned that there was so many military, but after a somewhat heated conversation between the halfling giant and Treya, a lot of the military disperse, some of them away from the scene, some of them deeper inside. We have an archer up top here, we have a military guard up here. They tell them anybody delays what we're doing here, kill them on sight. They know that people here mean business. Reyna, she goes ninja, but all the children, they share a telepathy, so they're able to share visual information and also communicate telepathically, which is very helpful so you don't have to worry about meta scenarios, who knows what. Right off the bat, Dart wants to explore over where the spider is, and she's able to use her newfound ability, which is animal friendship, and she ends up convincing the spider to work with her. Shasta and Furion, so they make their way out but are being stealthy. Their pets are with them, and she has her pet being stealthy as well. These guys all have a special ability that if during their attack rolls, if they roll a natural 20, their pets end up supersizing. And so all the children, which they find out through conversations with Reyna, are the 10-petaled flower, and each one of them representing one of the 10 primary essences of magic. Each one of them has a pet, except for they note that Reyna does not have a pet, and she doesn't ever appear to want to talk about it. Yeah, so she was over here, and I believe that she had gotten a natural 20, and so that made her pet supersize, and she gets to roll. She gets to do a d20 roll, and depending on what it is, it's a different animal that her pet changes into. Her pet changes, crazily, a spider, a giant spider. So she had this one natural spider that she had under her control, and then her pet who had supersized into a spider. This archer up here was taking pot shots at him. Because of that, and because he had a ladder, which Dart has ladderphilia, I think, which is an unnatural love for ladders, she was bound and determined that he was going to be the target, so she sent both of her spiders up the wall, which was pretty amazing actually. And so they were creeping up this wall here and interacting with this, and I have to tell you, this guy was very shocked to find 2 giant spiders come up and attack him. At that point, the ladder ends up coming off, but it critically fails, and it ended up hitting this guy, who also critical failed, but the ladder ended up getting damaged to where 4 of the rungs were broken, but this guy had taken some damage already, I believe, from the kids who were advancing and doing some hijinks, and Shasta had gotten her pet involved with him, and her pet's being genie form is able to transverse a lot of areas. And then same thing with the Treant pet. He can easily climb surfaces like craggly rock and stuff like that. So he was up here as well. And this goblin wasn't here at that point. He was gone inside the castle. So what we have here is that get our pink tentacle. So they moved from their starting area. There's another guard who eventually comes over and joins the fray, and they're able to take him down. This guy gets taken out by the spiders. Treant's up here. The ladder comes down, and they hauling him. Treant pet comes back down. Dart's pet ends up becoming more normal sized. She rejoins them, and they go to make their way in. However, there was this giant over here, and he was sleeping. This guy wakes him up to tell him to go see what's doing over here. Shasta uses her genie pet and ends up hitting him successfully using the immovable rod to some chains that he has here, so they affix him, and that delays him for quite a while. They end up using their broken ladder best they can, and they go through here using Shasta's pet to come in through the backside, opens the door. So now they all file inside of the tunnel. They're all up in here. Dart decides that what might be good is see if she can get the spider, who's her friend, to fix the bridge. It takes quite a while because there was some conversations about what kind of conversations you could actually have with the spider in a way that would help, something that would be meaningful. Over here in one of the buildings, there was a mad bomber what bombs at midnight. And by that I mean that there was just a guy who was tossing alchemy fire. This crazy goblin. So all the way over there, he was throwing some stuff. Shasta had gotten a special power-up that would essentially let her have an automatic crit. They had looted this area, and they had randomly got an alchemy fire. So they used that to automatically crit the Mad Bomber over here. And so this whole building ended up catching on flames. As a result, that automatic crit made it explode to where he was doing all his bomb preparation. So that whole building caught on fire, and that drew the attention of almost everybody that was nearby. So all the guards over there ended up being involved in that. So that actually gave them an opportunity to work on the bridge. So that's what they set to. So they're all inside of here. The giant spider set to the task of working to repair the bridge at a particularly vulnerable spot. So they're all up in here for the time being. And we'll represent that by just Dart. They're taking some shots from some archers nestled in the buildings here, over here. Shasta, she sends her pet, the genie, to deal with some people over in here. We have it so that the kind of the pro and the con of the genie pet, as each of these guys have different pets. So you've got the genie can, you know, of course, go over air and water and different things, but it can't really attack directly. Recently, through exercise of using it more and more, basically has the spell Mage Hand. This one, there was fun parts of like trying to pull a guy into the water. At least one of those was successful, so was able to pull him into the water. There, they were also taking some shots from some people down in here due to the inability to beat some contested stealth rolls. And so they are able to get the bridge prepared enough that they're able to come over here and they start attacking these archers. And then Treon had gone to where he was scaling the wall. And they were able to more interact directly with some archers over here. The spider had fixed the bridge. He goes in deeper and is contending with some guards. But the giant is able to finally get freed from the immovable rod. Shasta ends up bringing her pet back to retrieve it, but he's coming this way. They fixed the bridge, but they've got this giant now who is going to be coming over the bridge. He's over here.
That's so nice. Just ask me what you'd like me to do, and I'll try my best to help.
You're always so helpful, Peter. Never be in doubt of that. So they fix the bridge, and then they decide, you know what? Let's destroy the bridge. So they quickly go to work of destroying the bridge, and they Shasta's pet come off the wall and retrieve the immovable rod. So they start to work with using magic and end up setting fire to the bridge while he's on it. Causes the bridge to be broken and him to fall into it, and it says, It was really fun because it was like, let's fix the bridge. Oh crap, let's destroy the bridge. At this point, the guy over here, he was advanced on them, trying to smash them with rocks and such. And Dart had told the pet that it could go off and do what it wanted to do. She let it go. And the druid has a spell that allows it to root somebody in place while concentration is maintained. And when that concentration grows, that the ground becomes wild with grass and becomes essentially difficult terrain. And then while he was rooted, they ended up getting him prone. They had no problems taking this guy out. At that point, once they had made it onto the side, there's a whole, another set of board. But there were some guards here. One of the first ones that they'd actually seen was the halfling giant. He was on here, but he ended up getting pulled away. There was giants that they found that were in here as well, several of them, and they actually had been put to the task of helping to put out a fire that was going on over here because this fire had spread to this other building. So this actually had taken a lot of attention from people on the inside. There was some goblins over here, but they realized that these were mercenary goblins. They chose not to act on them, but these guys did kind of inform everybody else to what was happening. The players come in and kind of make their way into this area, and then ended up going over into another building where they had found that Reyna said that she had made her way into a place and was waiting for them to join her, and she was over by a building with a ladder that she was going to help them try to get to another level. Now this was probably, to get through all this, it may have been 3 nights, 3 different sessions that we had. I think that, and then the next board I think we ended up spending 4 sessions on. And I think that's pretty much the recap of these boards.
Thanks for hanging out with us here in the studio. If you haven't hit any of those buttons that matter yet, please do so. It really means a lot to us. And stay tuned, because next we will be doing more of the same. You can see it probably somewhere on here. I don't know where I'm going to put it, but somewhere. Yeah.